Hey, welcome back to the Emerald Knight Part 8. So like I said last time, I was iffy about the way Part 7 ended. And you can see I'm sectioning off the part, pretty much the part where the knight puts their sword back on themselves. But I'm redoing the ending of Part 7 because it didn't feel quite right with the character, with the knight. And I'm redoing it so that it'll work a lot better with building characterization for the knight and partly for Aranthus as well. As you can see, I didn't completely delete that ending, but I'm taking bits and pieces from it as I deem necessary to just pick up and grab, parts that worked from last time and I was okay with. And I'm putting them in this new ending of Chapter 1. So going along with characterization, I especially wanted to exemplify, the knight's agenda, what they're up to, at least in a vague sense. And it builds a little more mystery about them. Like with this little flask that he's got. And he's filling it with blood. Anywhere I can, I'm trying to insert evidence of character or of physicality, even, like what they look like. There's somewhere near the end of this part where I do mention something about the knights. I think their height, how big they are compared to Aranthus, because Aranthus has to look up at them to look them in the face, even though she's standing up. So it's things like that, that I put attention on to insert a little bit of characterization, even though it's not. It's indirectly showing characterization of a character, because Aranthus has to look up to look at them, so therefore they're pretty tall. I really like the description of the knight's voice. I've got a lot of parentheses in it because I wasn't sure on certain words. I'm not sure on what a gully is, or if gully awash was even a that might be too awkward of a phrase or something. But in the general sense, I like the description of the knight's voice. I was taken aback by how soon I would need a lot more information about this world. Meaning that it would be very helpful if I sat down and really just come up with a bunch of names and some kind of rules and lore associated with this world that I'm trying to build. I was taken aback by how quickly I needed that because, as I've said before, like the whole point of like choosing fantasy, having never written fantasy before and not knowing what I'm getting myself into, the whole point of it was to just keep on writing whatever I wanted, go on an adventure, whatever. Well, like I've said before, this needs details, and it sure would help to have a bunch of rules and stuff about this world set forth as you before you take the journey on writing your fantasy journey. Yeah. More in the way of showing characterization for the knight here in helping out Aranthus. Like, they got their own thing going on, but they take time to help Aranthus out. And I mean, I don't really know what to say about it. Maybe it's a thing. Maybe they took pity on them. Maybe there's something they like about them. Aranthus, I'm talking about. That they like about Aranthus. But it's interesting to have the knight just in the midst of all this really intense stuff that Aranthus is going through. Like, they just stop and be like, okay, I'll help you out, I guess. Oh, right here I'm talking about burning them. Like, there's a lot of fire around them. And, in some movies or stories or whatever, they have like cremation as an honorable burial for heroes and whatever. Like Hercules. Hercules, in the original story, in the myth, Hercules burns himself as like a final. It might have been one of his labors. I'm not sure, but like his final labor. I'm not sure. But I remember him that he cremates himself, makes a pyre for himself, and burns himself. But anyway, so I thought, with the limited time that they have, because surely more soldiers are going to be on the way pretty soon, because of all the fire and whatnot, surely they could probably make some practical use of the fire, so to speak, and do this sort of thing. But then I got to thinking more about it. I'm like, wait a second, these plants are alive. These plants are like vibrant and green, and like these fires aren't really gonna last. It's probably not that dry. Probably not dry enough. So, and there's not enough like heavy fuel on the ground to really put the bodies on top of to cremate them. So, I mean, the only thing they can really do is just set them down lay them out. And it's a nice juxtaposition between the knight and Aranthus, because in this moment it's like the knight's the more calm, collected, and worldly. Like, they know, they're pretty knowledgeable, and the knight has a sense of honor, while Aranthus is like, just, I mean, she's understandably, she's pretty broken up, and letting her emotions really get the better of her. I really liked the imagery of, like, Aranthus having this connection to her father's armor, and her finding comfort in it because she saw it practically every day. I like that quote from the knight. Like, okay, I've taken the time to help you out. Now it's time to move on. Oh, this moment is like, I wanted to insert some kind of a flashback sort of thing, but it feels a little too cliche with her family. Like, maybe they're cliche in the sense like it's a perfect family or something. But I mean, it's there, and it's something to work out later. But I'm just trying to insert anywhere I can, like, the importance, like how important her family was to her. You know, I mean, it's a given that, you know, she spent her whole life with them in this village. But I mean, it's important to really communicate that throughout the course of the story, I think. Going where I'm, man, that just hit me. That sounds like that sounds like something Kratos would say, like in the new game, in the direction of deer. I didn't think about that when I wrote it. Honestly, I really didn't. There's more vomiting. Look at that. I swear. I don't. No, I don't. I really don't. I don't have. No. But there's like just a little snippet of anger directed at the knight. Like from the square, how Aranthus felt that fire in her heart. So it cropped up a little bit here again, and it's probably going to be an important for lack of a better term, plaything, in terms of Aranthus's character. Oh, I feel like the Black Knight relents a little too easily in Aranthus wanting to, go with him. Yeah, she angled her head back to look up at him. She had to, because that's how tall he is. But yeah, I feel like the Black Knight relents a little too easily, but I don't know. We'll see what happens, if it gets so far as revision, you know? But, yeah, I really need to sit down and all the junk that they just take at the end here. I didn't know what I wanted them to take, so I just had them take, like, everything that was practical. So, I mean, that's probably going to change later. I'll probably just bring it back down to, like, just the sword. I don't know. Just sword and clothes. I don't know. But yeah, I really need to sit down and come up with a lot of lore and rules and stuff. It would really help, so I don't have to do this guessing game as I'm writing it, you know? Oh, sort of a reveal, sort of. But yeah, and then I delete all this stuff that I didn't use, because, you know, that's how it's going to work. That's going to be working title for you, man. But with that, that's part 8, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.